Okay, let's see here. Okay, we can take notes. Never mind. There. Welcome to class. I was going to say, uh, happy summer solstice in the northern hemisphere, and it's the winter solstice in the southern hemisphere. Today we have the 21st of June, and it's 2026. I would just like to give a little brief update on what's going on in the nearest future. I do it because I haven't been around for a while, and I still want to do these little uh, shows. And so I will, as usual, share my screen. And today we also released a new song on all the musical platforms, all the streaming devices. We've released a new song called "Because We Were Meant to Be," and I would love if you would give it a like or a listening, and please follow me if you don't already follow me on Spotify or whatever you use. Now I will share the screen because it's recording, and yes, I'm going straight away here to the Cancer ingress of the sun, so we can see where we are. And uh, what led up to this moment is maybe a little bit um, um, important to bring in that uh, 2 days ago we had the Chiron ingress in Taurus, and that is also super exciting. That Chiron is now starting to um, do ground in Taurus. Taurus was the sign where Chiron, the wounded healer, was discovered in 1997, in November 1997. Chiron was discovered in, I think it was around on 3 degrees of Taurus, and he will come to that return next year in 2027. And that has also been very um, talked about ever since we started to study Chiron in 77 or post 77. Um we have had the prognosis or the reading that Chiron has a 50-year orbit. So when he comes back, we go into a more wise time in our lives if we do if we do the job, if we keep working with ourselves, that is, then we step into a wiser part of our lives post 50. And Chiron has been in our conscious now collectively as a planetoid, or what you should call this body, for almost 50 years. And that tells us that this consciousness of the wounded healer archetype of healing the deepest wounds in ourselves in order to be able to help others through our experience and through our understanding, the bridging between the world of the structured or the limited 3D plane that is represented by Saturn as the last of the traditional planets, and then the higher levels of or more transpersonal levels of understanding ourselves through the outer planets that started with Uranus, Neptune, and then Pluto, and now we have a whole. It's totally super expanded our our knowledge of planets, of dwarf planets, of Kuiper belt objects, of cubewanos, of homates, of sednoids. I mean, I haven't got Lelecuhuanoa in my chart here, but when they talk about that, when, for instance, Alan Clay mentions this um, dwarf planet in the Oort cloud, it has an orbit of 55,000 years. And that's just so beyond our comprehension. But Chiron has a 50-year orbit, and since he came in 77, we have seen a lot of progress in the healing arts, in the alternative. It's called alternative medicine, but really it is the old way of using knowledge, healing knowledge. And instead they call that alternative today, but that is a mind game that has been constructed by the pharmaceutical companies and all that the mafia that wants to keep you sick and addicted to drugs. Um, but tides are turning, and more people are awakening to the healing capabilities that we have inherently, and how we can use these tools for expanding our minds, opening our hearts, and walk in peace on the planet. So it's really Taurus energy. When Chiron has hit this, we're starting to feel Chiron in the sign of stability, of growth, of um, Taurus is the sensitive sign, a very sensitive sign, tactile, physical. Of course, it has to do with our values. With it's ruled by Venus, so there's a connection to money or banking, but definitely values and traditions in a way. It's a fixed earth sign. And if you have some Taurus people around you, or maybe yourself, then you know that it is often very traditional in a way, conservative in a way. But this Taurus is, of course, the sign of blooming in the northern hemisphere. So it's a lovely sign, and Chiron will work with our values, with our bodies, our physical bodies. He has spent 8 years in Aries, and is now um, doing 7, 8 years in Taurus. Um, Aries is I am, whereas Taurus is I have. So Chiron is going to help us work with the wounds in this part of our psyche, individually and collectively. Um, so that was the energy that led up to this summer solstice, and you see here that uh, Chiron is sextiling the sun, and he is sort of squaring Jupiter and Venus, or the midpoint between them is pretty tightly squaring Chiron. So there is an amplification of the teacher, the teaching principle, and there is also an amplification of uh, pride when it comes to Venus in Leo is the proud woman who has her natural royalty with her. you see the opposition from Venus to Pluto here, and Pluto, that square from Pluto to Chiron is going to be more and more felt, especially in the next year. But we can already feel it that the transformative energies in Aquarius by Pluto, that is starting to mow down all the inequalities or all the corrupt systems that has put the politics in a place where it's almost untouchable or unreachable for a common man, but instead it has become like a aristocracy or a elitistic place for power. And Pluto is the symbol of power. It's a symbol of wealth. Also a symbol of the underworld, and what goes on in the underworld can be hidden and of course can be corrupt and manipulative and to do with really organized crime. So there's so much in the pot here that is happening, and we will see the development of this over the coming years. But already in this year, the 2026, the year of the fire horse, boy, are we going to see changes, and are we going to see happenings? Because these 3 months has been very, very talked about by astrologers, June, July, August, and the configurations that are coming up. And I just want to touch on a few of them here today because I don't want to get you bore you with long harangues. But if we go to this today's chart was this is a chart I always use Greenwich, England as a model for the world to make a world horoscope because it's on the degree zero meridian, uh, 0 degrees west, and it's also at 51 north 29, which is almost exactly a seventh, 1/7 of the 360 degrees of the circumference of the globe. You never know these days what is true and what is false, but we can still definitely do the math and work with mathematics, and it works. So today we see the exact square from, uh, sorry, not the exact square, but the exact sextile from Chiron here in Taurus and Sun in Cancer. Two feminine signs, two signs that are so much linked by Venus and Moon. Uh, Taurus is also the exaltation sign of the moon, and Venus is very well placed in Cancer. So they have we can connect them with the triplicities of the Earth signs. We can connect them with um, water signs too. It's a very harmonizing energy, and that so we kind of we're going easily into this transformation. Also interesting to note here that on the midpoint between the two, we find Zedna, the Inuit ocean goddess that has so much to do with letting go and also in a way forgiving the patriarchy for all their destructive behavior during the past 6,000 years that it's been in full sway. Um, we are coming back. We are returning. The reverence for the sacred feminine, the sacred masculine It is returning. And we have a lot of collective healing to do. So you see that Sedna plays a crucial role in this opening of a higher mind, of a higher consciousness, of a higher understanding of what is our way out of the conundrum of the maze that mankind has been sort of lured into by the construct of society, of the media, how much brainwash there has been through the media ever since the printing press. Um, and today it's more intense than ever when we have so much media, and therefore these players are helping us to much more tune in, maybe even lay the phones aside, or smartphones, computers, and on a daily basis practice to use your intuitive mind and understanding to uh, Pamela Gregory, drop into the heart, right? It's it's so important to have techniques, to have methods, to be able to drop into your heart, drop out of the mind and into the heart. Uh, Jesus often talks about these frequencies and how the emotional um, intelligence is on a higher frequency than the mental intelligence is. And that's what these signs, Taurus and Cancer, they talk a lot about that kind of emotional intelligence. And we're having here Jupiter and Mercury and Hygeia in the 12th house here at this moment, with Venus also in the 12th house in Leo. But this triad here is about it's also about health, and serendipity, and um, you know, hygiene. It comes from her name. She's a daughter of Asclepius, so she definitely has to do with also the healing energy. And then Mercury. Mercury is chasing Jupiter, uh, but and he has passed over Hygeia, but he will not. He's trying to catch up with Jupiter, but he won't reach Jupiter because he's slowing down now. He's in his epimethean phase after the superior conjunction with the sun. He starts to slow down. He ran away, or he ran ahead, but now he's slowing down, and he's in a mode where he will stop and come to a halt on the 30th, or is it the 29th of June, to do a retrograde phase. And then he will do 24 days of retrogradation from it's up on, I have that chart here somewhere. So should I go there already? Yeah, there it is. That's on the 29th of June. We see that Mercury holds on the heels of Jupiter, 2615. He halts here. And then he will start to retrograde 24 days from 26 Cancer back into 16 of Cancer. So that's a 10-degree walk backwards, um, done in 24 days. So that's a pretty, I would say that that's a pretty strong retrograde of Mercury, because it's not a big stretch that he's doing. It's only 10 degrees. And he's doing it in 24 days. So he will be really slow. And then we will feel it even more. Mercury is it's the messenger of the gods. It is um, the planet of the intellect, the brother of Apollo. He is a psychopompos. He's an initiator. He can travel like Chiron. He can travel in different dimensions in different worlds. So Mercury was one of the few who was able to go down into Hades uh, and could come up again. So Mercury is doing the backward walk all the way into the 23rd of July. So that will put another layer, another lens on what's going on. Because what is going on? I was about to show you here the Gemini ingress of Mars, and in the meantime, Jupiter is almost in Leo here. So he will, 2 days later, he will enter Leo. So what's going on right now is that this pattern is starting to form with the Pluto in a sextile to Neptune in Aries, um, Neptune that is opening up our third eye and our ability to bring in new spiritual energies to the planet. It's really a beginning of a 165-year cycle when Neptune entered Aries for sure in February this year. So he's in a way spiritualizing the brain. If we know that the head is ruled by Aries, uh, and you know we had the Neptune Saturn conjunction on the 20th of February, which was so totally amazing and so uh, rare, a 6,000 year occasion with them two on the first degree of Aries. So Neptune, with the help of Saturn, is bringing in courage to start new projects when it comes to, in Neptune's case, spirituality, ability to see through the Ajna third eye. And then there's a sextile then from Neptune up to Mars, Sedna, Uranus here in the beginning of Gemini, aligning also these planets are aligning with the seven sisters, with the Pleiades. And you know, I have to turn that down a little. You know that the Pleiades are very, very connected to the Mayan calendar, to the end count that of the long count calendar that ended in 2012 on December, on the solstice, or the 12th of December, or if you use other authorities like Kalaman, it was already 2011. But the date 12, 12, 12, according to my sources, resonated with the Aquarian age, the actual beginning of the Aquarian age. And uh, so the Pleiadians or the Seven Sisters have been very helpful to Earthlings, to humanity, for us to steer our ship through these stormy waters that we are going through. And you can see it all around you, how it is a very trying time on the planet Earth because the old system is collapsing in front of our eyes. The old system that is built on corruption, on black magic, on money magic, on Babylon. But yeah, I don't want to go there, but it is definitely time has run out for the dark forces, for the dark entities that have been ruling so long on the planet. I can't say how long because I'm not updated with that, but we're talking hundreds and thousands of years. I mean, Homo sapiens have only been around for approximately 300,000 years, but we had other uh, humanoid races that were here in Lemuria um, and Atlantis too, I believe. But that's prior civilizations yeah, let's not go into that right now. I just wanted to show you this chart because it's very interesting that Mars, as he enters Gemini, is going to be pretty fiery because he will connect Sedna and Uranus with the sextile to to Neptune and the trine to Pluto, and then the opposition from Pluto to Jupiter entering Leo 2 days later. So it's really it's coming up, and then we have Chiron here on the midpoint. In that opposition of Jupiter Pluto, we have Chiron, the wooden healer, on the midpoint, so we can really feel how the wound is being opened and exposed. The collective wound, the individual wound, is open. In order for it to heal, we have to see the wound. We have to understand the root of the infliction of the trauma of the uh, how do you say it? There's been so much um, sometimes I lose my words. It's neglect and people have been really kränka heter in Swedish. And I just have to write it in the notes when I was looking for because my mind went blank there. But it's also significant to see Haumea, the regenerative Hawaiian creative goddess, is opposing Chiron, squaring Pluto, squaring Jupiter. So there's a grand cross in the fixed signs. And the fixed signs, the grand cross and the fixed signs that talk about a karma that has the Dharma wheel coming in and and gives us the ability to break very, very uh, tough, rigid systems of bad blood, of negative thinking, of gossiping, of yes, you know that betrayal. We have such a history of betrayal and of judgmental attitudes and energies, and we have to heal. And you know, the only healer, the real healer, is unconditional love. That's what Jesus told us or taught us, has taught us during the past 2,000 years. And isn't it interesting that the crucifixion of Jesus happened exactly 2,000 years ago in on the Easter in 2026? There was a 2,000 year uh, memory of that crucifixion. He was trying so much to heal. What happened? They put him up on a cross. Well, he didn't die on the cross, but he didn't go to heaven either in 40 days. That's a construct of the church or whatever. But he lived on until he was 83 in another identity, and in Kashmir. But what's interesting is that that 2,000 year teaching has been coming down through the ages through different channels. So we have a lot of training. We've done a lot of training in opening up our ability to see, to forgive, to perceive through our hearts, through our third eyes. So that's why it's so interesting right now, the ongoings with uh, with these constellations that open up. Here is the 30th of June. That's the last chart I'm going to show. I have to close down because I've talked for I don't know how many minutes. But this is the again the chart for Greenwich, and you see what struck my eye. Jupiter is on the horizon. How good is that? Jupiter is rising, and let me see if I can see that the cusp is on 1 degrees and 12 minutes, and ascendant is on 1 degrees and 12 minutes. The MC is on 6 degrees 57 minutes in Aries, and there you have Neptune almost touching the MC. So these two players, the rulers of Pisces, and Sagittarius, are in such strong positions, so strong positions in a trine, in a fiery trine on the highest point of the chart, and also on the horizon in the east. And then you have Pluto setting in the west. And at the bottom chart here, I can't see anything that I I would mention really. Uh, Eros is in the late degrees of Virgo, and Tereus, Centaur, is on 842 Libra. But what struck me was that the Virgo moon, so this is just after the full moon in Capricorn. What is it? Like 6 hours after the full moon in Capricorn, we have this ingress of Jupiter into Leo, and the whole that wonderful uh, configuration of the opposition, the two trines, and uh, the three sextiles. Uh, and then, of course, the squares to Chiron, and the squares to Haumea down here at the bottom on 212. This is, I wouldn't say that it's a repetition of the crucifixion, because we are beyond that, and there are too many eyes watching, but they sure have tried to crucify, and they have succeeded in taking away, putting away, or annihilating, killing a lot of people that has been trying to unveil truths about the reasons for why are there wars on the planet, for instance. How can that come? How can a war exist so long um, in Ukraine or Middle East, or whatever? I mean, it's all over the place, and it's so evil, it's so dark, it's so corrupt. So we need these energies to open up the eyes of perception. Mercury here in his retrograde phase, moving towards the meeting with the sun, which will be on 21 degrees of Cancer, is the inferior conjunction on the 18th. No, sorry, it's on the it's before the new moon. on the 13th of July. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. And they meet on 21 degrees, on the 21st degree of Cancer. But uh, what I wanted to say about the moon, I lose my track of thought. The moon here on the 12th degree, and look at the number 1111 in Capricorn. Look at that magic. 1111 in Capricorn is the moon when Jupiter is on 00 Leo. And the moon here in the sixth house of health, of work, of pets, of the hygiene or health. Yes, yeah. Um, the sixth house is where we do our work, where we do our routines, and the moon is on the same degree as the centaur Pholus, the one who accidentally dropped an arrow into his foot and died because he was so mesmerized by the power of these poison arrows that Hercules was killing all the storming centaurs with. So he took a fast way out, but he was a very civilized centaur. He was a very humane centaur. Pholus from the cave. Go to what's her name, Melanie Reinhardt, to learn about Pholus. It's a wonderful archetype, and he has this journey with Quawar, the creation, the dancing creation god of the Togan, what's the god called? Togan people in the Los Angeles Basin, California. Am I saying that wrong? I'm probably saying it wrong. He is at least the creation god of those Native American Indians in the Los Angeles Basin, and he has to do with dancing and singing and playing the world into creation. He's about bushwalks and yoga and tai chi, and creative arts in a way. And he's together with Pholus, who is the when the lid comes off. So when the lid comes off, the wine is opened, the smell reaches the other centaurs, they're storming the cave. There is a storm coming, there's a conflict, a battle, sorrow and deaths and stuff. But it all ultimately leads to healing and to the ending of these atrocities that has been pursued in the name of religion or politics, power, of course, the wrong kind of power, force, the wrong kind of force, not the power of love. Um, so I will leave it at that. There is so much that I lose myself in these conversations with you guys. But I hope you had enjoyed some of the tidbits that I was giving out. And please listen to our new song. I will start to teach Rocket Vinyasa Yoga at Urban Om in Stockholm. This coming Friday, I will start to teach there. And you'll hear about that, more about that in the uh, future. That's all for now. I bid you goodwill and happy solstice to the north, to the south, to the east, and to the west. We are so blessed to be in this time of transformation on the planet Earth, the Gaia, the beautiful blue planet. God bless you all. Namaste.